What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I hope everybody, let me just get the mic in here. I hope everybody loved Magic Round. I didn't like it so much. Obviously, the Eels went down. I only got 4 out of 8. It set the tone. I went doggies. I don't know why I went doggies. That was probably the game of the round for mine. But here it is, round 11. We're almost at the halfway mark, guys, of the season. Can you believe that? It's almost state of origin time. So let's get into round 11 tips. These are hard. I think this is one of the hardest weeks. But let's get into it. Storm, Thursday night, we've got Storm and Broncos at Amy Park. I know Storm's probably heavily favorite here, but I'm going to go Broncos. Storm were awful against Souths last week. So I'm going to go Broncos. I've got the 1-12 bonus streak on. So let's see how I go with that. The streak's at 3 out of 10 at the moment. So not going too good. But I'm going to go Broncos here. Friday night, we've got the Doggies versus the Warriors at Accor Stadium. I've gone Doggies here purely. Addo-Carr's back. Warriors, there was a few comments last week about referees, but we won't get into that. But I've got Doggies here purely because Addo-Carr's back. Burton, they were that close to beating Raiders last week. A few bounces of the balls, but I don't know. Burton will put up those bombs against Warriors. Anything could happen. So I've got Doggies here. Second game on Friday night at 8 o'clock. We've got the Panthers at home to the Roosters. Obviously, you've got to go Panthers, Roosters. I don't know what's happening at that club. But last week was awful against the Cowboys. A lot of people tipped the upset. I obviously didn't. But I don't know. Kiri, maybe it's time to go. Bring Walker back in. I don't know what's going on at that club. I think they got a more underlining problems in the background maybe, and it's affecting the football team. I don't know what's going on. But let's move on to Saturday. Saturday, we've got the Rabbits to the Tigers. Tigers coming off 2 brave wins. Their fullback, 2 weeks in a row he saved the game for them, but I think Rabbitohs are going to be too strong here. They're on a roll. Hopefully they take it easy. Maybe slow it down the week after against the Eels, but we'll see what goes on. But I've got Rabbits here against the Tigers at Accor Stadium, 3 p.m. It'll be interesting to see how the ground holds up on Friday after the Friday game. Saturday, 5:30 p.m., we got the Cowboys at Queensland Country Bank Stadium versus the Dragons. Obviously, it's a no-brainer here. I'm going Cowboys. They're heavily favorite. Gutsy, massive win to get their season back on track. Last week, Dragons, I don't know what's going on with Dragons. They dropped Lomax as a scapegoat, but didn't work. So, don't know what's happening, but Sullivan's back. So, he scored 2 tries, set one up, kicked goals from everywhere. So, I feel like that could be a boost. We've seen Ben Hunt for some reason was playing hooker when he came on, but I feel like, feel like he needs to be on the field for Dragons to go anywhere. But who knows? This could be Hook's last game. Who knows what's going on with the Dragons? But yeah, Cowboys. Moving on. Saturday night, 7:30, GIO Stadium, Canberra. We've got the Canberra Raiders against the Eels. Canberra have won 5 in a row. Eels, they're killing me, man. They're absolutely killing me. It's hard, but I'll stick by my team this side. Sorry, looking into the camera, wrong side. But I'll stick by the boys and go for the upset here. It's weird saying that upset. I know they're out for revenge after the semi-final last year, but I feel like after last week, this could be the game. I just hope Para aren't on to next week. I hope they're not thinking, oh, we got Souths next week. That could be it, but it's getting crunch time. I'm in panic zones, guys. We've seen it. They've written off the season. I think the math is to make the 8, just to make the 8. Like, we were top 4 last year, grand finalist. Should have used that as motivation to go one better this year, but for some reason hasn't happened. I know we're yet to see the best of Para. We saw glimpses against Newcastle, but let's face it, that was Newcastle. They got problems of their own. So for me, I got Eels in this one, sticking by the boys. It's going to be a close one. Hopefully the boys can get on this one. But yeah, let's go into moving on to Sunday. Sunday, this game's interesting. We've got 2:00. We've got the Knights at McDonald Jones Stadium against the Titans. Now, don't know whether people noticed that, but I'm choosing Newcastle in this game. Fresh off the bye, Titans had a tough game against Eels the last match of the round at Magic Round. Chopped up stadium. Few niggling injuries out of that one. But for those that don't know this stat, and I'm going to break it down for you, look it up. But any team this year that has beaten the Eels has never won the next game. Right? Put it that way. We see Melbourne beat Para round 1, lost to Dogs. We saw Sharks round 2, lost to Canberra. We saw Manly round 3, lost to Souths. The list goes on. Broncos, the next week they lost to Souths as well. So any team that's beat the Eels this week has lost the following week. So I'm going to tip Newcastle in this one. At Newcastle, Sunday afternoon footy. Hopefully it's a dry one. Ponga, Magic, Origin's coming up, so he has to start performing. So that's it. Knights. Rounding off with Manly at 4 Pines Park against the Sharks. Tommy Turbo's clearly not 100%. He keeps saying he's 100%. I think Manly got some issues there, but I've got Sharks here. Sharks will bounce back after that demolishing loss to the Dolphins. That was shocking to me. I had Dolphins, man. They're like everyone's second favorite team, but in saying that, they're finding ways to win. I remember, I think at the start of the year, I was talking to some of the Dolphins players that I know from on social media, and they were saying that Wayne Bennett has told them pretty much, I'm not going to teach you how to be a superstar, but I'll teach you how to win. And boy, is it working. So, wow. But in it, I've got Sharks to win. So let's run through my tips. Broncos to beat Storm. Bulldogs over Warriors. Panthers over Roosters. Souths over Tigers. Cowboys over Dragons. Eels over Raiders. Knights over the Titans. And to round it off, Sharks over Eagles. So that's my tips for round 11. Let's see how we go. Hopefully I do better than 50% like last week. Atrocious. My tipping the last couple of weeks has been atrocious. So, yep, that's it for me, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Everyone get out to the games this week. I don't think I'm going to Canberra. Definitely probably not going to Canberra. I had a bad experience last time. I was in Canberra. Torrential rain. I left here, a little story time. Left here from the Greater West in Penrith. Left here, it was like 30, 40 degrees. So I'm wearing shorts, this Eels jumper. I had shorts on and I had a pair of Yeezys. Now, many people know what Yeezys are. They're pretty much socks. But yeah, so get to the game, open the door, shut the door straight away. It was like -10. Get out the car, watching the game. Hardly any undercover at Canberra Stadium. Torrential rain. I was drenched. Walking back to the car, we had Brad Arthur, Joey Grimer, all his coaching staff, throwing me towels, offering me their jackets and stuff like that because I was dying. I don't know how I didn't get the flu. I was drenched. It was like I just got out of the shower. But yeah, so freezing cold. I was cold. Put the heater on the car on the way home. Drove past the Eels bus, bipping the horn, yelling out to him. Woke the most angriest player in the world up back then, Bo Scott. So, or was that the trip before? I don't know. But every trip we always drive past the boys on the way home. But yeah, get out to your local stadiums, watch your juniors play, cheer them on. So yeah, that's it. That's it for me. Like, subscribe. You know the rules. Sorry, I had to say it, but I'm not gonna tell you this. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, and see you next week.